Hi everybody, just to let you know, I've basically come live to just walk you through the 7-day challenge I've got coming up to let you know what to expect, what we're going to talk about, what you're going to learn and how important it is for you to actually be in the challenge. So if you're a cleaner or you've got a cleaning company, you really need to join my challenge to stop struggling finding staff, stop struggling to find customers, build foundations for your business. By way of induction, I'm Ilse Whiteman. I run a successful cleaning company for 12 years, and I'm now the creator of the Cleaning Coach Training Academy. So basically, I'm going to jump straight in. First of all, thank you very much for being here, for watching this, and thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. So I know you're busy. We're going to get stuck straight in. So day one, we'll be talking about money. What do I charge? Pricing. What I found worked in my business, how I managed to actually charge a lot more for the services we were offering, what, where and how. I will basically share with you my domestic checklist, which you can download free when you join the group. Why? It's a big one. Let me just move a little bit. It's all about... You give this form to your customer before you even go to the premises. The customer calls and says, okay, we would like your cleaning services. So you will basically send them this form, give 2 days before you go and see them. And what this will do is, well, it's big. But what I found, what happened in my business was, once I gave this to my customers before I went, they were so overwhelmed. They were like, wow, I can't believe how thorough you are. This put me immediately above anybody else, because if you as a cleaning company say to your customers, look, I want you to fill in this checklist before we even come to look at the job or discuss money, you're already saying to them, look how good and how thorough we are, and we do things differently here, we care. And once they filled in this checklist, what you then will do, which we'll talk about on another day, I think it's day 3 or 4, we'll talk about how you then take this checklist that they've ticked, and then basically you add it to a contract, which you will then know exactly what you're doing, where you're doing it, and basically it's, like I say, it puts you in front of everybody else. So, I mean, what do you currently do to stand out from the crowd, to say, hey, I'm different, therefore I can charge more? We will also be discussing different pricing structures. So once they fill in the checklist, then you're roughly going to know, like, okay, this is what they want. They don't want us to be really thorough. They only want us to do sort of little things. Then there's a different, basically, pricing structure that you can give them. Instead of just saying, oh, this is how much we charge per hour and we'll just go in hourly. What I done was basically give them an option, right? This is an office one. So basically for domestic there was 3. So obviously you get bronze, silver, and then the almighty gold. And what I found, so this is after they've actually filled in the checklist. Then we were able to sort of then say, okay, this is roughly how much we will sort of charge for that. And because I've already established as an authority, I found most people went for the middle one or for the bigger one. Because if you just say, oh, okay, £10 an hour, this is what we charge, say for instance, then it's just kind of like is what it is. But if you say to them, look, we offer our different things, they kind of like inclined to go for the more expensive kind of pricing structure, because they're like, oh, I didn't even know you did that. We'll also be talking about how to stay on top or in front of them all the time. Like, we clean windows, we do this. And even if you don't at the time offer as a cleaning business, hire a company that you can work with that can offer that service, because you want them all the time. You want to be on top there to sort of say, look, here's, we do everything. Don't give them a chance to get another cleaning company in to, say, for instance, do the oven, which you don't do. And then the other oven company then says to them, oh, by the way, did you know we do domestic cleaning as well and we do window cleaning? Don't give another company the chance to get in and say to them, right, so make sure all the time. That's what we'll all be discussing on day 1. It's just to make yourself as well aware of the pricing, how to get a better basically the authority that you will show to them, that you will portray as a cleaning company, it's like worthless. It's just amazing. And once I started implementing this in my business, it changed. And I think I only had one customer out of all of the customers when I went through this, that the job we didn't get. Because if they phoned 3 cleaning companies and the company came in and we did this, send them a checklist, and other companies didn't, it immediately pushed us. They already had us before we even looked at the jobs. Oh, I want them. So that's something to remember, but we will obviously discuss this in a lot more detail on day 1 of my 7-day challenge. Then on day 2, we will be discussing very, very important customer service. And a lot of people say, oh, well, it's fine. Don't ever take this for granted. Don't send your cleaning staff or even your office staff. Don't let them talk to customers without you training them. Explaining to them how we deal with things, why they need to be dealt with in a certain way. Like if a customer has a go at another one of your cleaners while on the job, I mean, how do they deal with that? Do you allow them to swear at them? Have you told your cleaners, like, this is how we deal with it, don't swear, kind of thing? So customer service is very important, and it's very important to get it right very early on in your business. If you don't yet, I mean, obviously it's never too late, but I will be recommending a book I read in the beginning of my business, well, a few years in, which absolutely completely put customer service into a different perspective in my world, because I am sort of friendly and kind, and I also care a lot about my customers and my staff, and I always wanted to make sure everybody's happy. I absolutely hated complaints. But this book just completely changed my cleaning business. And I'm just going to read you a few. Obviously, I can't give the book now, and I'm not going to say who this quote is for, but it's all about creating customer loyalty. Not just a customer. Make them loyal. If they're loyal, they'll stay around, they'll recommend you non-stop, and you will have a valued customer, like, for the rest of that customer's journey. But it is a process you need to work on. So, loyalty is the most difficult of all of the customer service goals to achieve, but once you have it, you have something your competition will never have. That, I will have to say, is a very, very important quote. And the person that's quoted it, I will actually obviously tell you on, because it's not my quote, but I will tell you that in the 7-day challenge. Just a few more. Quality performance and quality service starts with a positive attitude. It's not about being right or wrong. It's how you react to handle problems. This is just, it's amazing. Like I say, I will go through the book in detail in my 7-day challenge, and then just explain to you why it's so important, and like things I did in my business that made a massive difference. Right, so then on day 3, we are going to go through contracts. Sorry, just turn my light on, it's a bit dark in here. Right, so day 3, we'll be discussing, like, once you've filled in the customer's filled in the checklist, then you will build the contract. So basically, it's just obviously add a little bit about you, and always a photo of yourself. Just to sort of remind them, look, I'm this person and this is what I look like. So they know, they're familiar with you already. So when you go and see them, they know. So basically, you go through all the things they need to check. They need to agree on what they said they need cleaning. They need to agree on the price. Couple of things I think is very important is, especially if you do office cleaning, you need to, or even domestic, but you need to sort of say to them, look, if say for instance Christmas comes, you need to basically say, if you have Christmas cards out, do you want us to move them and clean underneath, or do you want us to basically clean around them? And it might not seem like a big thing, but when I first started, we did it because that's what we do, we thorough. But what we found was basically that we were doing that, but it was taking us extra time. And if you can imagine, if you've got quite a few offices, it takes you a lot longer. And basically in my contract, I started stating, like, do you want us to move it or do you not want us to move it? Because we will charge a bit extra, because it takes extra time. Most of them obviously say, yes, please, if you can move it. So if you clean weekly on a 2 weekly basis, just to obviously make sure the dust is gone. And they, very important, had to agree on, I probably shouldn't be giving it here, but agree on things in the first place. Like if you go and look at office or you go domestic cleaning, and say for instance there's 2 people in the house that normally lives there, so you got a certain amount of sort of dirt you need to clean. But if they have 14 members of their family come over one weekend, or the staff, if the office staff grows, like all of it, there was 2 people to start off with, and now there's 7, we need to charge more because it's 1 extra bin, 1 extra desk, it sort of increases. So it's very important that you get them to sign this contract, and it's to protect your business. It's just, you're not saying to them, basically they won't take offence for you saying that. You're just saying, look, we're kind of organised, but we don't work for free, because I don't think anybody works for free, and of course you want to earn more money. And then I will take you through basically the office 5-day office checklist. So you will have everyday tasks, like what get done on a Monday, what gets done on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is for big offices. So say for instance you clean there 5 days a week, and there is no way that you will basically have, that's quite a big one, but there is no way that you'll be able to get everything done. So what I used to do is sort of say, right, so every day we do burns and desks, you know, the normal things, like do cups if we have to do cups. And then like on a Monday, say for instance, we do a certain area of the office very thoroughly. Then on a Tuesday, we do something else. And on Thursday, so everything gets spread through the sort of days of the week, so to make sure everything is done, everything is covered, yet the normal stuff sort of kind of like it's done, but it literally puts in perspective, like this is what we sort of can do in that time, because some office cleaning customers still want you to sort of say, you know, how long it's going to take you. In the beginning, that's fine. Like I say, as you grow, you'll probably find it's much better to charge them as bulk. Like this is what we'll charge to do this on that day, which is so important to have the checklists to actually then sort of to state like what we can sort of achieve or what we will do in for that sort of price. And then I will take you through. This is literally it's like a book. It's quite thick, but this is one domestic customer. So what I've done is filled in the checklist. I've literally gone through everything that sort of has to be done, and then I've put in here when we do things. But I think most importantly is in this book is everything about that domestic customer. There's one customer, so it's alarms, where the keys are not, how often her brass gets cleaned, and when we offer the oven cleaning services, how often that gets done. But it's everything is yet again like this week we'll concentrate on this, and well, the normal things and this, and then we sort of try. But most importantly, I think that's in here is do not. The do not. Do not do this. Do not, because you'll get to you'll learn how to sort of connect with your customers to sort of find out what they hate. Like one customer absolutely hated damp cloths on wood. Now I can kind of get that, but one of my staff that worked there did it, and my customer went absolutely ballistic at her because it's kind of like damages the wood. Now obviously I thought it was common knowledge, which I didn't train my staff doing this, but at the end of the day, it's all in the do nots, literally. It's just all about, like I say, it's all about that customer loyalty, because if she sees it again, she's going to like get fed up and sort of go, well, hang on a minute, I've already complained about it. So as this sort of job progressed, I then obviously added everything to the books, like do not, do not, do not, do not, and the staff members just had to read through it and make sure they knew everything. And once like a customer complaint did come in, you know, most of the time it would be silly little things that's quite easily to rectify, but I used to text all my staff and say to all of them, look, we've just had this problem, this is what I'm going to do about it, but please be aware, like obviously we don't want the same complaint again. Right, and then on day 4 we will be talking about recommendations. And basically it's how to build a system in your business for your recommendations. And once you sort of got this sort of system ready and sort of implemented into your business, it's about, all you want to do is treat your customers so well that basically at the end of the day, they become loyal. They literally will not look at any other company. They will not even think about it. It wouldn't enter their head. It's all about this process of treating them a certain way, giving them very, very high standards of cleaning, and then basically build on the loyalty. And they recommend. It's very important that you remember, if, like, say for instance, one customer, you got a really loyal customer, she will tell a few friends, 10, 15, but if you do something wrong or something to really upset them, they will tell 200 people, because they've now got something to moan about. And it's kind of like human nature to moan. So it is very important to build that loyalty and to build that trust for that customer. And remember, I'll always say this all the time, you constantly have to make them aware that you offer everything as a cleaning business. So basically, that's why it's so important. But I will take you through the system that I built to make it easy. And also, it's very important to have the same for your staff members. If you want more cleaning staff, one of the best places is for your staff members to recommend other staff. And you sort of put it in perspective and sort of say to them, right, so say for instance you get a member of staff, if you recommend somebody, I'll give you £20. Say for instance. And it's just to encourage them to always be on the lookout. And also you can say to your staff members, look, if you bring a customer into the company, you will get some money. So it's building that system that's solid. So for the rest of your sort of business, you kind of like, it happens automatically. It's putting the referral system or the recommendation system basically in automation. It will literally run all the time. And then really, like, if a staff member does bring another staff member in, like, really go out and make a massive point of this, because you do need, well, we need cleaning staff as much as you will need customers. And obviously, because without cleaning staff, you won't have customers. So it's very important as well from your staff's perspective to tell them, like, this is what we do, bring new staff members in, bring new customers in, you will get properly rewarded. Don't ever take that for granted. That's a big, powerful system that you could have in your business. So then on day 5, we will be talking about benefits and features. What benefits should your company offer? So I will be talking about, I had 17 benefits in my business which I offered customers. But you got to remember, say for instance, like when you say to your customer, right, I offer 17 benefits, but when you talk to your customers, you don't say we DBS check our staff. You need to give them, the features. You need to give them the benefit of your feature. So basically, like the DBS checking, okay, it's fair enough. But if you just say that to your customer, it will be a bit like, yeah, well, all companies do, so what? So you need to get over like the fact that, look, we DBS check our staff, but remember, you can relax. Even if we work out of hours, all our staff checked, their safety signs, so they will not give your information out. So you got to make sure that it's the features all here, one of them including the free tier cleaning plan, which is the price, which obviously we'll discuss on day 1. But I will go through here the benefits. It's how do you deal with that? And it's how to get that benefit over to your customer to get more customers. So very, very important, and something I struggled with for a long time, to kind of like get my benefit over to my customers and not my features, because I was quite well to say, oh, we clean very well, and oh, we do this, and oh, we do this, but it's not that the customer wants to know. It's the benefit of the feature that the customer wants to know. So we'll discuss that in a lot more detail, so you understand it a bit better. So when you do talk to your, well, actually this will also be included if you, for the contract, before they sort of sign the contract, you'll sort of say, look, just remember wow, this is what we do. We're not just everyday ordinary people. We push the boat out on that one. So then on day 6, very exciting, we will be talking about employee handbook. If you're a small company, you probably won't have one. It took me a few years to have mine, or to actually make it, because I didn't know I needed one. And I just had all these problems, and I was just like, well, I just dealt with every problem sort of as it came. But basically, like I say, we'll discuss it in details, but there's the contents of everything that's in the book. It's quite a... Let's do it that way around. Might help. It's quite a big book, but it's all about building a culture for your business, like a culture when it comes to your cleaning staff and your customers. So we'll discuss mission statement for your business. So all your staff kind of follows your mission statement. Everything your staff needs to know. Your basically equal employment opportunities, probation period. Try to say that. Solicitation, hours of work, attendance, overtime, uniform, mobile phones, bank holidays. What happens, sort of separation? What happens when they leave? It's quite detailed, but you can sort of like choose what you think your business needs. I would say all of them, very important. And I found that out later how important this book was. But this is like what you will give to your new staff, your employees, and your current staff for them to sign. And the signed form looks like this. And basically, it's just for them to say yes. Basically, you add your logo sort of here. Probably take this bit, so I found it from the cleaning coach. Take that away, and you give this to them. Sign. Never take for granted paper copies. Always scan, put on your computer for very safekeeping as well. But basically, and I will be sharing the non-compete agreement, which is in my employee handbook, which I think is probably one of the most important documents you can have in your business. And that's just for your cleaners not to take your customers or steal your customers, should I say. This is very, very important. So we'll discuss that sort of in a lot more detail. But the reason why this employee handbook, I think as well, is very important, like the separation, like I mentioned earlier. If, say, for instance, you decided, right, okay, so I don't want one of my cleaning staff working for me anymore, then you kind of like have to judge after a while. What I did was, once that sort of happened, that either the cleaning standards were good enough or they did something they weren't supposed to do, I didn't want to give them notice and then them still working for the customer, because they already know they're not working for my company anymore. So what damage could they do? What can they tell that customer about basically lies? They can do a lot of damage within that 2 weeks. So in my company, I decided, look, I'm going to give you 2 weeks notice, but unfortunately, it would be paid notice, but you won't be working for my company anymore. But they were fully paid. But that's something I took on myself, because I didn't want my cleaners to then do that to my customers and then lose even more customers, because it is so important to protect yourself, protect your company. And remember, every single thing every staff member do, what they do or don't do in your business, is directly it's basically your responsibility as company owner to protect your reputation. Because they're not going to say, oh, that cleaner did this and this and this. They're going to go, well, that company, and is your name always in front, which is why it's so important to actually train them to protect your reputation. That's what you do, or that's why you need an employee handbook, is to protect yourself and your company. And this thing about never trusting anybody is so true. You can build some trust, but always have in your mind your company name, your reputation. That's the most important thing you can ever own. If you destroy it, honestly, it's just very hard to build back up from once it's destroyed. And one customer will tell 200 other of her friends, and that's potentially a lot of customers lost. So just remember, if you've got any questions in between, or even if you joined the 7-day live already, if you would like to ask any questions or have any comments, please remember to comment below. And I would love for you if you could maybe share this video. And once you've shared it, please just comment below shared. I would love to sort of thank you personally. Right, on day 7, we'd be discussing how to train your staff. Why train your staff? Remember this, the loyalty part of things, and how most cleaning companies struggle because cleaners come in and then, well, everybody thinks they can clean, but everybody does clean. Everybody cleans their own house. Everybody, I think, at one point do cleaning. So if you get staff in, they automatically think they're the best cleaner ever, which is fine, but there is such a vast difference between being a cleaner in your own house, cleaning your own house, and offer a professional service. Especially if you want to grow your cleaning business, you really need to train them thoroughly about everything. And I'm not talking about health and safety, although that is a major issue, but it's the how to clean, and how to clean from the customer's point of view. Like when you clean, like what do they check afterwards? What do they clean? How do they clean? With what do they clean? Do you make it easy for them? So we'll discuss that in obviously a lot more detail on day 7. Because also at the end of day 7, for people that's kind of like turned up and interactive in all the sort of sessions, I am going to ask 10 very lucky people to join me in a, well, basically it's a surprise. I can't really say too much, although I'm so excited. I wish I could. Oh, no, I'm not, I can't. I promise I won't. But there is a massive surprise at the end of day 7, especially when it comes to the training of your staff side. And it will just transform your business even more. It's just amazing. So once again, just remember to, I would love you to share this video. And like I say, just comment below, share it. I would love to personally thank you. Please remember to like my page at Cleaning Coach for more updates, for more lives, and to learn more about training your staff to add loyalty, to get your customers and your staff, to get more loyal staff, to get more loyal customers, and how to really build the system from the bottom up. You can do marketing in your business, but if you have sort of, let's say for instance, 100 customers, you can market and market and market, but until you get the sort of the referral, the recommendation, and the staff training structure right, it's very hard to go from here to here. And also remember, most of the massive big boys, the massive cleaning companies, which by the way is only 2% out of all cleaning businesses that actually make it, they all have their own training academies, big training academies. So and that's what smaller companies sometimes lack, is the training academy side of things, which is why I'm here basically sharing what I did in the beginning of my business to make a difference, to be able to have really loyal customers that recommend me all the time and recommend staff to recommend staff. My customers started recommending staff to me. It was absolutely amazing. But I would love to help you, and I would love for your cleaning business to grow, and for you to earn the money that you want, for you to get to a stage where you don't have to be in the business anymore, but you're working on your business. And it's sometimes daunting and it's sometimes overwhelming, but I tell you honestly, it's definitely worth at the end of it. Just always remember, we all started somewhere in life. We couldn't walk, so we all learned to walk step by step, and it's the same applies to a business. But don't try to run, don't sprint. It's a marathon. It's done step by step by step, and you need to prepare yourself. So once again, I would love you to comment down below and like my page. You get more updates, more videos, and loads more cleaning tips coming. So I'm going to sign off now, but I would love to see you if you do own a cleaning company or a cleaner thinking about starting your own cleaning company. See you in my 7-day live challenge. It will definitely be a challenge, but it will be worthwhile. Can't wait to see you there. I'll see you later. Bye.